I just beat Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze for like the 7th time, I believe, and it only took me 4.5 hours this time, but those 4.5 hours were nothing short of magical. So I streamed this entire playthrough, and about once a year I replay this game, as it's one of my absolute favorites because it's so damn replayable. This time around I didn't go for anything too special, didn't focus on 100%ing it, or collecting all the puzzle pieces, or even sometimes the letters. I just went with what felt right. I rushed through certain levels, and in others I took my time really savoring the platforming, and every single time I play this game, I learned something completely new, and this time was no different. So as I said, I was streaming this game, and I started out pretty optimistic. Also, comparatively to any other DK game, this is where Donkey Kong feels the absolute best. His physics are unmatched, he looks beautiful, his moveset is absolutely perfective here. You obviously have your jump, your roll, dash move, and the ground pound, and that's about it unless you have this homie on your back, which we'll talk about later. The moveset here was absolutely perfect. We took out the obnoxious like blowing mechanic that was in the Donkey Kong Country Returns games, and they simplified it to an absolute masterpiece of what the original should have been with new age type mechanics. DK was simply a joy to control here, and unlike these original games, when I died, I felt like I deserved it because the mechanics and the moveset was so tight that I knew I couldn't blame the movement this time around. A lot of times in that original trilogy, I would just slip off the platform ever so slightly. Jesus Christ! I can't even see it because the screen will go all the way this way. And then I'd fall to my death and it was very frustrating. But here, the movement is refined. It's so perfect that there's nothing else to blame except for yourself, which was a hard truth to accept for some people, not for me because I'm humble as That was ironic because saying that you're humble is not humble, okay? Don't come for me I was joking. But the story here is pretty different from most DK titles. Gone is King K. Rool in the Kremlins, and now there's an eternal winter over DK's land, and so Donkey Kong and the crew must go to war against the polar soldiers. I love this idea because it made for such a colorful world and a lot of fun bad guys. Each level you'll be absolutely flying through it, bopping mostly penguins on the head, but there's like 4 different flavors of penguin enemies here. You've got those basic baddies that just slap you if you stand still while they approach. You have the ones with the helmet that when you jump on them are knocked prone, and you have to pick them up and throw them in order to defeat them. You have the ones with the horned Viking helmets that you can't jump on and you have to roll through, and then you have the ones with the fishbone spear that you have to jump on because you can't roll into them. So there's a lot of different variety with these guys, and they're all quite cute. Honestly, it felt bad at times killing them because they're just little guys, you know? And actually, there's 5. There's 5, because there are other penguins who will shoot fish arrows at you, and honestly, I usually found these guys more helpful than anything, because you can just platform off of those little arrows in order to get to a different letter or reach a different bonus area, so those baddies slapped. It also should be mentioned that occasionally when you're in the rocket barrel levels, they'll throw these like airborne penguins at you, and all you do is dodge them, but as a whole, they don't come up too often. Then there's the other main bad guys of the game, and these are like the owls. The owls can be tricky because the base ones are pretty chill usually, and you can just use them to like bypass different areas of the vine swinging or other things like that. But then these shit-ass ones are so tough because sometimes they place them at the absolute worst areas. They shoot fireballs at you, and honestly, this part isn't a huge deal. The problem is that they changed from being a normal little owl that you can bop on the head to a fire owl that will kill you if you touch it, and they're always placed in the way, so it makes sense for you to just jump on their head, and it's just so confusing at times. But this is a really smart enemy because it makes the player halt their momentum for a bit and need to just wait and time it in order to assess the situation and act from there. There's also occasionally the high jumping bunny thing, and these guys are a pain in the ass, but they're not really too bad. And then there's some more random shit, but it's just mostly owls and penguins that make up the base baddie population. So that's it for the main baddies, but there's also some bigger homies to get into, and I know, do you want to break down every enemy type with me? Come on, you know that this is my review of a game I've played 7 times. I can only tell you how amazing the platforming is so many times. I've talked about all the Donkey Kong games. We gotta get into the nitty-gritty here, and if this is boring you, please stick around. It's not boring, it's interesting, okay? I swear. So there's these bigger baddies that require 3 consecutive bops, and they're about the same as the other ones, but there's walruses that bounce around, these fat-ass owls, these fish-throwing bears, and at least for the last few levels, this dude who uses his horn to blow fish at you. These guys are never too bad, and it's honestly just helpful to use that owl to like jump off of in airborne levels when you're jumping from ledge to ledge or vine to vine. So that's most of our baddies except for our fish, whom I'll talk about in the underwater segment. But yeah, the baddies are pretty well done. Their designs really complement the world, and those penguins are damn cute, honestly. I know there's a lot of people out there upset that the more recent DK games have strayed from King K. Rool and his Kremlins, but honestly, I don't mind the switch up here. Mostly just because of how well it fits into the theming and the world design. So World 1 was pretty chill. It's mostly just about getting used to the controls and the new abilities that the different extra Kongs get to have. Diddy has this hover ability that's pretty cool. Cranky Kong has an absolute garbage ability that makes you zoom down to the bottom of the screen, but you can bounce on spikes and it goes decently high, but it'll never save you from your platforming. So like if you make one mistake with Cranky Kong, it's honestly going to be worse if you use his ability because you're going to go straight down. He's just not useful in like helping save your shit platforming, unlike our girl Dixie, who is the absolute queen here. Dixie is the Kong you should always be using through this entire adventure. I mean, it's literally next level. She has this hover that's similar to Diddy's, except for the fact that she can gain a little bit of upward momentum if you hold it down long enough, and she's saved me in so many different situations, it's not even funny. This clip is crazy, though. Come on, you can't tell me that Dixie is not the sole reason I lived here. Dixie's a god. Dixie's a damn god, chat. I would have absolutely eaten shit. Come on, chat. But like I said, World 1 was nice and pleasant. The first boss was a seal with a Viking helmet on, and he's pretty easy once you get his pattern down. And as I have beaten him at least 7 times, this wasn't too much of a challenge for me here. But again, it's just about remembering the pattern and staying prepared for the next phase of the boss fight. So the overall difficulty of this world would probably be like a 5 out of 10, but the fun factor and the world design and all that stuff, it's an 8 out of 10 because it's a great introduction and really shows the vibe that sets the tone for the entire game moving forward. Now, World 2 isn't too different. It's really just more of the same type of shit. Here they introduce a lot more air platforming with different windmill platforms that crumble away after a little bit of time, forcing us to think faster and stay more on our feet, and the autumn theme here is gorgeous. We're being shot all about in the barrels, jumping from leaf to leaf with some more precise jumps, and then the minecart levels. This one wasn't too bad, it just took a little bit of practicing and figuring out the timing of everything, but then you're gliding across these vines and you have to grab and spin around at the right time to unlock more of the area, and this stuff was honestly a ton of fun. And some of my favorite levels in the whole entire game are here. World 2 is just beautiful, it culminates with everything wonderfully in this awesome boss battle, and this time around we're fighting the owl, and this dude is no joke. For the initial 3 playthroughs I had of this game, I really struggled with how to beat this guy here because I just didn't even pay attention to the little barrels on the sides that you're supposed to jump in when he goes across, flapping his feathers down to the bottom. Like, it was crazy. And literally, I just struggled a lot, but I died time and time again. But this time, I ate this shit up. I knew exactly how to handle this dude. It's all about patience with the bosses and staying calm. And knowing everything I do about this game, we ended up absolutely demolishing this freaking loser, chat. He had no chance against Josie freaking Woah. That kind of hurt. I don't know why I'm so hyped. Honestly, I woke up really early today, so I should not be as excited as I am, but I got a new camera set up, so if you notice anything... No, my bokeh! My bokeh hasn't been present. Fuck, chat. I know that's the only reason you guys come here. Do we have bokeh? I might be too close. Damn, bro. Well, now it looks better, huh? Does it look a little better, like a little bit nicer? It's not Christmas lights, chat. You can have them all up all year round. They're just nice lights, okay? I don't want to hear it. Okay, sorry. So back to the dude. Okay. But no amount of horrifying ass feathers can keep me down, and I beat him first try within like 6 minutes, so that was pretty freaking lit. I mean, Streamer of the Year, dare I say, Streamer Awards? Hey, invite me. My Wi-Fi works sometimes, and I stream sometimes. Come on. Now, on to World 2, I was feeling good, chat, and at this point, I'd only been about a little bit under an hour, so we were zooming through. World 3 was full of falling fruit, swooping birds, and flowers that we needed to lean on a certain way. But it wasn't anything too out of the ordinary. We also got a Rambi in the 3rd level, and he plays phenomenally. I love that they really toned back reliance on animal buddies in these last few games, because it makes the few times you play as the animal buddies extra special. Level 3 was challenging everything, learning to use the tornadoes in my favor and constantly dying right before the end of the level, but after just a couple deaths, we were able to finish it out strong. And then in the next level, literally everything was on fire, and the gimmick was that you had to throw these water balloons at the fire, and I didn't like this level that much. It was a pain in the ass. But, I mean, at the same time, it was a decent change of pace, so I did feel it kept everything feeling pretty fresh overall. The next level was a rocket level, and this was one of my favorite new things introduced with Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii, so I was really happy to see them back in this game. Obviously, I knew it was coming to play this game time and time again, but again, it's nice to see a change of pace. This one had a really wonderful backdrop of water, and there were these shark things after you the entire time that provided a lot of challenge if you aren't accustomed to them yet. The last real level here was a challenge, as it is a lot of barrel-based stuff, all about timing and things like that. The cinematics there were also so vibey. And now the boss of World 3 was one of the most challenging of the entire game in my opinion. The monkeys. These guys are tough and they're constantly changing up their patterns, and then there's 3 of them that you have to keep track of at the same time. You have to be so precise with your jumps that it still challenges me with every single playthrough. Obviously, I got through this baddie pretty quick because we beat the whole thing in like 4.5 hours because I'm a god tier gamer, chat. Say it. Say it. You guys know it's true. But, you know, this boss, it honestly feels like it never gets easier. It's always pretty brutal. But it's a cool enough boss battle and one of the most challenging and least rewarding, to be quite honest. Boss battle is a 7 out of 10, but World 3 is lit. It changes stuff up with about every single level, keeping you on your toes, so 9 out of 10, good shit retro. And with that, Stream 1 was concluded with about an hour and a half of playtime altogether. It was lit, I had high energy, I felt like we were moving through it, so I was excited to go into the next stream. Then chat, disaster struck. I tried to go live just 3 days later, but my Wi-Fi and equipment had completely other plans. It was infuriating. My camera and sound weren't syncing up, and then after an hour of troubleshooting, I basically fixed it until my Wi-Fi decided to just fully crash on me, and then I crashed out on Twitter, as you like to do sometimes. Listen, Cox Wi-Fi, I don't know what's happening, but they're just like, sometimes they work really well. Sometimes my upload speed is insane. And then it's like other times I can't do anything consistently. And everybody's like, listen, you have to run an Ethernet cable to your computer. You can't rely on Wi-Fi. But they don't understand that I can't run an Ethernet cable through the entire living room to my room. I don't even know if they make cables long enough for that. And I don't have the authority in the house that I'm staying at to be able to do that. That's crazy, chat. I don't own this house. I'm here on commission, basically, okay? But shout out to everyone who was watching my struggles live on Twitch. If you would be interested in doing that, please go follow it. Go follow it, you guys. I'm gonna stream over there a little bit, I think. I don't know, I've been talking to a lot of people, and some people are like, you gotta stream on Twitch, it's fucking better. And then, like, some parts of it are better, but I just don't really have that much pull over there yet, chat. So come on, go follow over there. It's a fun time. It's like the YouTube streams, but with a little bit more ads because Twitch's player is not as good. But for me, chat, for the streamer, it's a lot better. Okay, you gotta trust me. But someday I'll have my own place. I'll have everything, you know, is ready to go. I'll plug my shit into the Ethernet cable, and I will be a streamer. That's coming soon, chat. Maybe not. Maybe give me. This is a weird time in my life, chat. I don't know. Soon, hopefully. But yesterday, I got it all mostly figured out and was excited to go live yet again and beat one of my favorite games of all time. Stream 2 was on March 3rd, 2025, ironically on the 8-year anniversary of the Nintendo Switch. So how freaking litty is that, chat? So World 4, I've got a weird relationship with this because it's an entirely underwater world for the most part. And I don't really like underwater levels, and I hate that they're such a staple for platformers. Like, literally, I don't know a single person that likes these, but if you were to hold me at gunpoint and question, what is the best underwater level in a video game, it obviously has to be these ones. The way DK moves underwater is pretty seamless. He's beauty, he is grace, and he is this sick-ass spin move that can zoom you through most of the level itself. And then you're also fighting these fish dudes who aren't much of a threat, and they're these sort of bigger ones that like take 2 hits, and then it's about dodging out of the way of different obstacles for the most part. Sometimes it's metal spikes, sometimes it's an electrified coral, or whatever the hell this is, an enemy, or what have you. This is definitely not one of my favorite worlds, however, it's beautiful. The environment itself is basically breathtaking. The colors and everything here, I mean, it's literally gorgeous. The precision required for many of those sections is nail-biting, but this world didn't only have underwater segments. Yes, it was there a lot, but it also heavily featured the minecart, and 4-2 is damn fun. They do a sort of 3D style thing here, forcing you to jump between different tracks and things to fully switch up what we've come to expect from this absolute staple in the franchise. It ends up getting absolutely insane, going to a sort of like top-down style vibe where you're jumping between 5 different tracks and hoping to not get hit. And then we have the underwater and land levels, and then it ends in this really pretty underwater silhouette level, and the way the pink on the plant shows up is absolutely lovely looking. In 4-4, they introduced the water bomb thingies, and I hate them. I mean, this level was difficult in a not rewarding way, honestly, because it just kind of pisses me off, like, a lot. Then 4-5 is pretty tricky with these, like, switching platform thingies, but I got the hang of it pretty quickly. 4-6 is the spiky ball level where you have to be so pixel perfect with some of your movement. It's wild. Your reaction time needs to be on point, and you have so many different things to think about at all times. It was quite a tough level, but contrarily to our last water level, this one did feel a bit more rewarding to finish. And oh boy, the pufferfish boss. I've hated this boss for a very long time and had a hell of a time with it as a kid 10 years or so ago. His pattern is predictable and he's not too bad, all things considered, but the last part where he literally becomes the size of the screen and you have to like pixel perfect platform like this little fucking section at the bottom is brutal, chat. It's so brutal. I mean, I don't know. The frustration I felt there was ungodly, you guys. But after a couple tries, I easily got through it because, again, I've got that damn muscle memory. I know what to be looking for, chat. I know his patterns. I know everything to do. I don't have to learn anything. I know what to do. It's easy for me. This is like all you guys telling me that the original Donkey Kong trilogy is the easiest games ever because you've played it 40 times or 10 times like I have this one. You know, and then you're like, oh, it's not that hard. You just don't understand how to do it. And it's like, yeah, I'm learning, okay? And then I have to learn on the spot on stream. You do it. You can do it, dude. You do it. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But yeah, after a couple of tries, I ended up completely demolishing this and killing him. I don't love the water levels, but because of the variety of interesting things they did there, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 world, with the minecart levels getting a 9 out of 10 and the boss at the end, you know, probably like an 8.5 because it's very challenging, but once you do it, it's very rewarding. Now, World 5 is one of my absolute favorite. I think it is my favorite of the entire everything. The fruit levels, dude, they're beautiful. Background and theming wise, this was so much fun. The platforming is challenging as well, but so being rewarding once you overcome it. Dixie is almost a necessity for a lot of the super challenging levels, I would say, and 5-1 isn't too insane. It starts out sort of tame, but the tilt platforms can be brutal. This is a good change of pace though, and an entirely new gimmick, so that's pretty cool. The jumpy ball things are lit as well, and I died in 5-1 so damn much. 5-2 was vibes. It's a rocket barrel level with half 3D perspective. It can be kind of confusing as hell at times, but it's extremely cool to look at, and the robot penguin guy is a nice touch. The ending makes you really thread the needle, and it's a banger. What? Okay, no G for us. What's going on here? Oh, thank God. Alrighty. 5-3, we got this crazy piranha plant guy. This enemy design is fantastic. I mean, they look so weird, but like beautiful at the same time. This one is probably my favorite level ever because there's a point where you're platforming on blades and you have to jump from tiny fruit piece to tiny fruit piece, and it's hard. And I remember years ago first playing this level, it was rage inducing. I mean, I used to full ass scream in my room trying to beat this as a 12-year-old. But now, I'm a motherfucking beast at this stuff, chat. I'm fucking god tier. I'm a gamer. It also fakes you out at the end barrel before throwing you to the wolves, and you have to platform your way all the way up to the top. It's sexy, it's amazing, and it's my favorite level ever. Ever. It's so, so good. Play it. 5-4 is a lot of graders and flipping platforms, so timing is really important here, and while it's not my absolute favorite level, it's a nice change of pace again, throwing you back into the water here for the last part, which is incredibly challenging, with the signature nail-biting precision dogging these spiky ball baddies. 5-5 has us bouncing on jelly, and this was a nice cooldown from the difficulty of the past few levels. Don't get me wrong, it's not exactly a walk in the park, but I guess it's just not as crazy precise as the last few. In 5-6, they introduced the ice again here, and you're jumping from popsicle to popsicle, and it's pretty tough. With a whole other level of difficulty because of how slippery this mother freaking effer is. You've got watermelons shooting you all over the place, and the momentum you can build up here is insanity, but after just a couple tries, we overcame it. Boss battle time in this one was litty. I mean, it's a polar bear, and it's perhaps one of my favorite. It's decently challenging at points without feeling entirely unfair, and I remember the last phase, seeing the dragons rush at you can be so horrifying at first glance. I think it really only took me about 2 tries this time, and it was a fun boss battle, all things considered.
Ah, dang it. Missed opportunity. Bop. Oh, we got him. Boom!
Now, the last world here was wild. We start off with 6-1, a level that really relies on most of the platforming you know, but it's falling now. So it's just about jumping off at the right time and planning it all really smart. But the entire thing is also on ice. So these brutal, slippery physics are here while you're trying to make these last-minute fast movements, and it can be horrifying. 6-2 was absolute vibes. I mean, you're pulling up boats and stuff to level out the platform, and it's not too crazy, but it's a fun change of pace and a good mix of stuff. They place enemies brutally here, and as someone who rarely kills all the enemies on screen, this one was a bit of a challenge initially. Then you get to the rotating ship, and it's horrifyingly difficult, because at the same time that you're supposed to be jumping from plane to plane, penguins are chucking bombs at you. It's chaotic, to say the least, but after about 10 or so deaths, we made it through. And honestly, I think that was like kind of the most we've ever died in the levels so far, because again, I'm a goddamn master at this game. I don't know if I've said it enough, so you know, whatever. But yeah, it was crazy. 6-3 was pretty easy. I only ended up dying about once, and I pretty much zoomed through the entire thing. It's a basic Donkey Kong platforming level, but this time everything is covered in ice, so it's slippery AF. But nothing I couldn't handle. 6-4 brings us back to the rocket barrel levels, and it just felt like a really good timing to mix everything up. I love how fresh this game always felt, honestly, and this one was extremely challenging. Spikes of ice were falling, snowballs were launched with slabs of ice sporadically placed all over the level, and it really tests your reaction time and anticipation, and it's very, very fun, honestly. Love this level, especially because at the end, you just get to play as a giant snowball.
Snowball thing. You don't really do much. You sort of just jump occasionally. Oh my god. Crazy. All right, we did it. Let's go. Let's go.
6-5 was challenging, snowflakes are everywhere, and enemies were littered all over the stage, and we were using all of your abilities to the absolute max. You have to grab onto things, you have to use your momentum correctly, and it really feels like you're being put to the test here. All I'm going to say is thank God for my girl Dixie, because it's definitely one of the hardest levels in this game, especially with the switch from platforming to barrel play, to jumping from grip platform to other grip platform. 6-6 was an auto-scroller, and this was very vertical. It had that gorgeous silhouette art style, so it was a lot of fun and damn nice to look at. This one didn't take too long because Dixie can honestly just bypass some of the harder stuff in this level, and it only took a couple of tries and I was easily on to the next. 6-7 has a power type mechanic where the platform touches a certain power thing and it'll basically electrify, and if you're on it, you're barbecued. It wasn't too bad, honestly, just took a couple tries to understand the movement of certain points. 6-8 sees the reprise of Rambi, and you're zooming through a volcano, running through as fast as possible, jumping from ice platform to ice platform. It's slippery and challenging, but a lot of fun. And the ending is tough because the entire level you're like zooming through, but you have to wait till it opens up at the end part, and it breaks the pace so much. I died a few more times than I should have there simply because of impatience. But now we're on to our last boss battle, and it's the big bad of the game, the Walrus. Yeah, it's not King K. Rool, which honestly, the King K. Rool fights, I'll say they were a little bit better. But the walrus, he's challenging. There's 3 phases as always, and it gets exponentially more difficult. First, he'll send down some enemies that you have to throw back at him in the background. Then he jumps to you, then he rushes you like a bull, and you have to jump on his back. And overall, I believe I hit him like 5 times to trigger the next phase. Then he'll jump to wherever you are a few times until heading to the background to do it all over again, except this time, he's gonna coat the entire foreground in ice to make things even more fun. You go through the phases again until you hit him 5 times, and then he's in his 3rd and final phase, and this one's tricky. The whole platform rises to the top, and you have to jump back from the bottom without falling into the lava. I mean, it's tough and shocking the first couple times it happens, but then you basically just rinse and repeat till he's down. Some ice dragons are definitely going to come after you, and all you need to do is jump and duck at the right time, but it's really horrifying at first. So World 6 is a 9 out of 10 with a 9 out of 10 boss fight.
Oh my god, we did it. Okay, let's go! Let's go! Game beaten.
It was a good boss fight overall. I do think things would have been a little bit more climactic and cool had it been King K. Rool, obviously. But does King K. Rool fit with the theming, you know, and an alligator? Maybe they could have made him like an albino alligator. Aren't those the ones that yeah, right? Those ones live in really cold water. No, maybe I'm just making that up because they sort of look like polar bears. Give them a coat. Give them a damn fur coat. You know, a donkey fur coat. Come on, or not a monkey fur coat. Come on, man. This game is lovely as a whole with many 10 out of 10 perfect levels. And when I look at the game in its totality, I see something I consistently want to return to. A game so fun that I think about it when I'm not playing it. A game so fun I replay it once a year. I mean, I've 100%ed it. I've played it on the Wii U. I just love this game so much. And the fact that I still play it 11 years later should show you how magnificent of a game this is. I honestly don't think there's ever been a better 2D platformer. This was absolute peak. And that's why I'm dying to see what Retro has been doing with the franchise for the past few years. I mean, it's been so damn long. What are you guys cooking in there? And Metroid Prime 4, I have a feeling that's it, you know? But I'm really holding out hope that this is the year of DK. He needs a new game. I miss him. These are some of the best experiences I have had on the Nintendo Switch, just going through and playing the entire trilogy, right? Because now I've beaten all of the country games, and I see where each mechanic comes from. I can, draw parallels to the different games and stuff, and it's a beautiful thing. They paid such beautiful homage to the past with this game while refining every single thing and bringing it into the modern era. They perfected Donkey Kong here. I don't need something, even like reinventing the wheel with a new Donkey Kong game. I just want new levels to run around in, Like, it's a damn good game, and I know there's secret levels and extra levels and things like that. But give me something new, like some sort of new packaging, you know what I mean? I don't need you to reinvent anything, but I need more of it. I need more of it in a bad way. But how do you guys feel about Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Did you watch the streams? What were your thoughts? And I might upload an edited playthrough of that if you guys would be interested in seeing that. I'm deciding between doing that and making it on a different channel. Like uploading it to like a stream clip channel that I maybe create. So let me know your thoughts on that. I'd love to talk about that. But yeah, it's a banger. And I'm honestly sad that I'm done with those games because they were so much fun to play through. I'm going to have a huge video coming soon talking about the whole franchise of the country games. So look forward to that. Thank you guys for being here and check out this video. It's a banger. It's a vibe. It's a good time. All this stuff, chat. It's bittersweet that we're done with this franchise because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I love Donkey Kong more so than I love any other Nintendo franchise. I'm a platformer girly at heart.